Manna, bread from the heavens. The Parsha of Behalotecha and Beshalach tell about the manna that fell in the desert and sustained the Jewish people for 40 years. The Talmud asks, "It is written, and when the dew came upon the camp at night, the manna came down upon it," indicating that the manna fell inside the camp. And it is written, "And they went out and collected," indicating that the manna fell outside the camp. And it is written, "They walked and collected," indicating that the manna was far from the camp. How are all three possible? The Talmud explains that the three verses are talking about three different groups of people. For the righteous, it came down at the door of their homes in the camp. Average people went out of the camp and collected. The wicked walked far from the camp and collected. The Talmud also explains the three different terms used by the Torah for the manna: bread, baked goods, and ground in a mill, in the same manner. For the righteous, it was ready to eat, like bread. The average person had to bake it, and the wicked had to start grinding it into flour. Manna is called bread from the heavens, or grain of the heavens. And the blessing said before eating manna is, Hamotzi lechem min hashemayim, who takes bread out of the heavens, or Hanosena lechem min hashemayim, who gives bread from the heavens. The difference between bread from the earth and bread from the heavens is that bread from the earth requires a tremendous amount of preparation. It starts with plowing, sowing, and all that is done in the field. Then you have to wait for it to grow. Then it has to be cut, gathered, threshed, winnowed, and ground in a mill, etc., etc. By the time you have a loaf of bread, much time and energy was expended. And after all that, it is not pure nourishment. Part of it the body takes, and the rest becomes waste. The bread from the heavens, on the other hand, depending on who you were, had little to no preparation, and it was pure nourishment. There was no waste. This bread from the heavens nourished all the Jewish people, whether they were righteous, average, or wicked. Even the wicked had the experience of pure nourishment without waste. That means that even when it became part of the body, the manna remained in its pure state. The manna, therefore, had an effect on the person who consumed it. As our sages say, the Torah was not given to expound, but to those who ate the manna, because the manna affected us and made us into the people right for the task. The manna affected every Jew, and each of us has a part in the Torah and a unique way of understanding it, righteous, average, and wicked alike. This will help us clear up another oddity we find about the manna. It is said in the name of Rav Sadia Gaon that if we find ourselves in a distant place and we don't know which parsha to read, we should read the parsha of the manna. And some say that the reason for this is that the parsha of the manna was said by Hashem on Shabbos. There are many parshas that were said on Shabbos, including the Ten Commandments, which represents the whole Torah. Why should we specifically read about the manna? As mentioned earlier, even though the manna reached the lowest levels, even the wicked ate it, it remained in its pure state. First it fell from heaven to earth, then it was consumed by all kinds of people, righteous, average, and wicked. And throughout all the levels, it remained the same. Shabbos has the same quality. It is a very high and holy thing. It comes down to the lowest levels, but it remains the same in all of existence. About Shabbos, the Torah says, "The heaven and the earth and all its components were completed." Vayachulu. The word Vayachulu has an alternative translation from the word kilion, to go out of oneself from ecstasy. But in regards to Shabbos, it would mean to be raised up to a high spiritual level, because it didn't go out of itself, it remained the same. The verse would thus read, "The heaven and the earth and all its components were raised." And this happens every Shabbos. The whole world is raised in ecstasy to a very high spiritual level, the level of Shabbos. That is why on Shabbos, not only it is a mitzvah to eat and drink, but it is a mitzvah to have pleasure from it. Actual pleasure, it is a mitzvah. During the week, we have to eat so that we could survive and do the things we are required to do. There is no requirement to have pleasure, as worldly pleasures make one coarse. But on Shabbos, not only does pleasure not make one coarse, on the contrary, the pleasure is a holy thing. It is a mitzvah. Since the light of Shabbos permeates all of existence, we have a rule that even a completely wicked person doesn't lie on Shabbos. It doesn't mean that he does teshuvah on Shabbos. Rather, he remains the same person, with all of his failings. However, the light of Shabbos has such a profound effect on him that he doesn't lie. Now we can understand why we read the Parsha of the Mana. Because both Shabbos and the Mana have the same unique quality, that they affect all levels of existence, and yet their holiness remains the same. So the Parsha of the Mana brings, therefore, to the essence of Shabbos. On the other hand, the other Parshas, including the Ten Commandments, although they are very lofty, they don't bring out the essence of the day. Everything in the world is reflected in Torah. The two types of bread, bread from the heavens and a bread from the earth, are found in the study of Torah. Torah is called bread. It nourishes our essence. Bread from the earth is the study of the revealed parts of the Torah. It is with great toil and effort that we acquire the knowledge of the revealed Torah. And even when we understand a part of it well, it is fraught with arguments and opinions. Bread from the heavens is the inner or hidden part of the Torah, in which there is no question and no argument. May we bring every Jew closer to Hashem by teaching them both the revealed and inner Torah. This will surely bring Mashiach closer, especially the teachings of the inner Torah, Chassidic teaching. As the soul of Mashiach said to the Baal Shem Tov, that he will come when your well springs, meaning Chassidus, will spread out. May he come soon.